Hey, good afternoon, church. Church. Good afternoon from us. We want to have a quick little video, all three of us, on the reading plan. Do you want to show? What are we showing? Yeah, that's it. Let's bring it down so people can see. We have been, as a church, moving through the Bible together, as you know. The Bible, yeah. And we've been in Jesus' last discourse with the disciples before he goes off to the cross. So we've come to the end of this, and in the time it takes us to get you another one of these, I would like to pause and spend some time.
This is the Bible.
Thomas wants to show you his Bible. So in the time it takes us to get you another one of these, I would like to spend 3 or 4 weeks just camped in these 3 chapters of John, 14, 15 and 16, where we've been studying these past couple of weeks. It's important, even though we're separate, that we do continue to move through the Bible together and encourage one another in the reading and learning. And besides that, if you've been feeling the same way as me over these last 3 or 4 weeks in John, and this last bit of John, Jesus' ministry to the disciples, there's been a lot of content and it's been very difficult to take it all in, especially to teach these guys it. And certainly these chapters 14, 15 and 16 are full of really important stuff. And so I think it would be really good to take a couple of weeks to review it. I want to encourage you and help in any way I can to really, as a church, let's get to know these 3 chapters. Jesus is setting up the disciples for really life without him. He's about to, yes, move on to the cross, but then even beyond that, he's going to go back to his Father in heaven, and he wants to leave his disciples joyful, peaceful, with that strength, that will to persevere. And if I can speak personally, I definitely would really love to have more peace, more joy, or even to experience more of that joy and peace that I have. And obviously I too want to continue to persevere, even at this time where life is a bit crazy. So we can move through this time together. I'm going to involve these guys in it because really that's where I'm at. I imagine you guys some of you are in similar positions. And yeah. Okay, the little ones are in bed, so I get an opportunity now to talk about the plan of action, how we're going to tackle this 3-chapter long text. And we're going to do so using 5 points. I have mentioned them here. And this is a discourse written by John, so it's a little bit different than the usual Paul way of doing it. We're used to a bit more of Paul, I think. He deals with one topic, then he moves on to the next, and he moves on to the next. John seems to just give us all at once. You say, just keep them all in your head. And so what I've done is I've separated out what I think are the 5. I could have done more. I've tried to break it and condense it down into 5 main points that Jesus makes through these verses. And here they are. I'll run through them in just a minute. But here's the bigger picture, and I've tried to represent it in a little diagram. You have the disciples who love Jesus. That's important to keep in mind. The disciples who love Jesus, and he's leaving them in the world. He's leaving them in the world, and this, for those guys, is a sense of great trepidation. They're very troubled. Plus, there's a lot of tribulation about to happen to them. And certainly the risk is that they would fall away. They would lose their joy or their peace. So Jesus wants, this is Jesus, he wants to give them, to let them know that they have joy, have peace, that they should keep going, that they have the strength to persevere. And so I've represented these 5 points of John kind of like cement, where you put different ingredients, sand, water, cement together, and you mix it up and you get that concrete floor. John is giving us Jesus' discourse. He's taking these 5 elements that we're about to talk about, mixing them together in these 3 chapters again and again, just working them so that there is this sort of foundation of joy and peace and strength in our lives. Now for these guys, the trouble was Jesus was leaving. The Jewish world was about to turn against them, all sorts of tribulation. For us, it's a little bit different, but still foundationally the same. We are in a world that is ultimately hostile, where that is not how God planned it. We don't belong in the world, we belong with God, and yet He has left us in the world, and He's not physically with us. How do we have joy, peace, and a strength to persevere? These 5 elements, knowing them, understanding them each individually, seeing how they connect together, and ultimately how they point back to provide that kind of foundation of joy, peace, and strength. That's going to be important, and I hope that's where I grow. I hope that's where you grow. Let's see if Tommy grows and understands this as well through these videos. Well, here are the 5 elements. I'm going to take a video for each one. This is just the overview. And I challenge you to read with me. Search the text yourself through each week for each one. We'll take a video each in turn. We'll deal with the first one maybe the end of this week or the beginning of next. We'll see. Which is that I am one with the Father. Jesus is trying to show us about His person, His identity. Next, we'll look at how He's coming back again, He said. This is His plan. He's coming back to take us to be with Himself. He's provided the Holy Spirit. He sent the Holy Spirit to be a help. This is His power or His presence with us. Then we'll see that He's appointed us to bear fruit for Him. That for those who love Him, we're to serve Him. We're to obey His commandments. Now we're here as His witnesses. That's the 4th week. And then finally, His encouragement, which is staggering. Ask the Father for whatever you need. Ask Him and He will give. Now, we will look at these 4. We'll go them one in turn. I will involve the kids. We'll see how it goes. Please send me feedback on how you're doing. This is about equipping us as Christians, as parents, as single people, whatever. We need to know the joy and peace, the strength that we really do have, and that has to start in knowing the Word. Has to start in knowing these chapters 14, 15, and 16, knowing them well.